Thanks for joining us here on WDTV Plus, on your smart TV, on your phone, on the web, wherever you happen to be. Thanks for joining us this morning. In our ever increasing quest to increase our production value, this is all we could come up with. You ever look at a picture of yourself and say, is that really what I look like? I'm not saying that I'm saying that. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that. But thanks to our art director, Chris, for producing my new slate picture, Weatherman Ken at 10. Today we're going to be talking about colder temperatures that we had this morning. We're going to be talking about Wednesday, last Wednesday, not the upcoming one. That being said, we'll also be talking about Wednesday because that's over the next 10 days. But we had some excitement down in Fayette County in terms of severe weather on Wednesday. We'll talk about that in a second. We got colder temperatures. If you were out this morning, temperatures dropped into the 30s. If you don't like the cold temperatures, we've got more of them for you. I'm sorry. And the title of today's Weatherman Ken at 10, episode 15, is May is here. It's May 1st. May is here, at least on the calendar. May weather, not so much, at least in terms of average. We are going to be below average in terms of temperatures most mornings, most, if not all, afternoons. Our average high temperature, I believe, for today is 74, and that increases slowly as we progress through May. 74, I think we got that for one day, but it's going to be on the cold side for a while. So let's get to it here on Weatherman Ken at 10. What we're looking at here is the EF scale. That's the Enhanced Fujita scale, which measures tornado intensity. So usually this time of year, severe weather starts to ramp up, and we had some severe weather in Fayette County on Wednesday. You can see the EF1. Fayette County had an EF1 tornado and some damage. I don't believe there were any injuries reported, which is good, but I believe there was an 80-year-old barn, not person, a barn or a shed that was destroyed down there, and we showed that story earlier today here on 5 News. So I've heard before that the mountains keep us safe from tornadoes. There's kind of some truth to that here in north central West Virginia. If you look at the tornado climatology, it kind of has a not a bullseye, a positive, but as a kind of like a lull in the activity here in north central West Virginia. I have some theories on that, and this is only a theory, but a lot of times when you get rotating thunderstorms, which are the ones that cause tornadoes, you've got southeasterly winds at ground level, and they turn to the south, and then they turn to the west as you go up in height like this. This is probably backwards to you, but they turn with height. That makes a rotating thunderstorm, and then it concentrates that rotation into a tornado. So if we usually get southeasterly winds to turn with height and produce rotating thunderstorms and possibly tornadoes, winds from the southeast come down from the mountains, which has the effect of drying things out and warming things up. So that might be one reason in north central West Virginia why we kind of have we may actually have some protection from mountains due to maybe downsloping is what it's called, coming from 4863, which is Spruce Knob, to Clarksburg, which is about 1202. At least these are the airport number at North Central West Virginia Airport. So there may be a little bit of truth to that. There's definitely what's the right word for it? Like a lull in the activity, like there's less of it. I'm sure sometime later on today I'll come up with the right word that I was thinking of. But either way, we had a tornado out in Fayette County on Wednesday. This is the storm reports from the Storm Prediction Center. Those are the ones that issue the convective outlooks that talk about thunderstorm potential and what the threats are. We'll show you that in a second for Wednesday. But we were under the marginal risk on Wednesday, and that means that sometimes severe weather doesn't materialize. And if it does, it's few and far between. And that pretty much what this graphic shows here. We had one severe weather report, and it happened to be a tornado in Fayette County on Wednesday. Here's some of the details from the Storm Prediction Center. They were calling it an EF1. Now, when there's a tornado or a suspected tornado, what happens is the Weather Service office, who controls that county, sends a team out there to do a storm survey. What they look for is circular damage with straight line winds, meaning if you get a thunderstorm and it just produces the winds to come out straight, you get everything blown in one direction, trees and whatnot. But of course, when you've got a rotating tornado, you look for damage in a rotating pattern. And that is what they found when they went down to Fayette County. And they estimated, which is pretty much the only way we can do it here, they estimated that winds were over 86 miles an hour and up to 110 miles an hour. Again, we'll go back to the graphic here and look at some of the details there. So they had it in near Pine Grove, at least that's where they say it began. It was skipping along, quote unquote, in a 5-mile path from the east-southeast in an east-southeasterly direction. So it was from the west-northwest to the east-southeast. And when they're saying it was skipping along, sometimes tornadoes or the funnels will form and reach the ground and then retreat back into the clouds and kind of do that as they the thunderstorm cycles through various processes. And also sometimes you can have tornado winds at the ground without actually seeing the funnel. So there's a lot that goes on there. But they did see clear signs that there was a tornado in Fayette County. And on WDTV.com, somewhere you could probably find that story. It was from our sister station at WVVA. They got some video and an interview with the guy whose 80-year-old shed was destroyed. A lot of trees were snapping, they said, and he could hear that. So some damage on Wednesday in Fayette County. That was the only severe weather report. Now, that being said, while it was only the severe weather report, on Wednesday, or I should say on Thursday morning, we had a lot of reports of trees down, trees on power lines. In north central West Virginia, we had some power outages too. I remember talking about those on air. So even though we only have one severe weather report, there was definitely some tree damage and some power outages from storms elsewhere. So this is what the Storm Prediction Center had for tornado threat on Wednesday in the morning. They had the 2% area. It doesn't show 2% here, but that's what this is showing here. So they had this wide area of a 2% risk for thunderstorms to possibly produce tornadoes, and one materialized. So this is the lowest percentage they have. If we had higher percentages, you'd see more rings in here and different colors. But they had a 2% area for a wide range of areas. So there was one report somewhere right around here in Fayette County. The take-home message here is that a lot of times here in north central West Virginia, will have the potential for thunderstorms that could produce tornadoes. And oftentimes we have a 2% risk. Now, I can understand you thinking 2% out of 100. So what's the chances of that? 2%, that doesn't sound like a lot, but you got to take into account the area and maybe take 2% of this area here and think of it more in that terms. That's how many, what the overall threat is. It's not just 2% that they may occur, it's how many in that area may materialize. It is a little vague, yes, but we're not sure exactly where the tornadoes will form until we're actually seeing signs of them or signs of them on the radar. But the point I'm making here is that even though it looks like it's only a 2% risk, that's usually the time when we see tornadoes form due to the marginal characteristics we usually get in the atmosphere to produce rotating thunderstorms here in north central West Virginia. Case in point, the first ever tornado in Pocahontas County was in, I believe, August of 2024. I remember sitting in the studio before I was on air and watching them do the weather, and I saw the little box pop up there in Pocahontas County, a little red box for the tornado warning back in August of 2024. And sure enough, that was the first one ever. And also last year in, I think it was around the Father's Day storm where we had that major flooding in Fairmont, we did have a tornado there in Marion County. I've got video of it on my phone, but I can't show you because I don't have the intellectual rights to it, and it may be copyrighted or I just can't use it. But you may have seen that, but that was a long time ago. But either way, whenever we get a lot of times when we get tornadoes here in north central West Virginia, we'll get a 2% risk and they'll materialize. So that was the case on Wednesday in Fayette County. So let's get back to the weather for today. It was cold this morning, relatively speaking, and almost absolutely cold. When they say relative, we're talking about relative to average. And when they say absolute, we're talking about in terms of records. So we made it to 32 in Clarksburg today. It was 3 degrees off the record of 29. Elkins well above the record of 24. Morgantown, well above the record there, and Parkersburg came close by 2 degrees. But that being said, that record was only set back in 2021. So cold this morning, starting to warm up, still going to be chilly this afternoon, but we have more mornings that'll be well below average here in our very near future, aka tonight. Temperatures right now continue to rise. Right now in the upper 40s to low 50s for most of north central West Virginia. Clarksburg 49, Morgantown 51, at least as of 10 a.m. Elkins is 42 degrees. Now, on this map here, a lot of these temperatures, I'm not sure where they come from, to be honest. They may come from weather stations. They may just be interpreted. But Clarksburg, Morgantown, Elkins, Buchanan, and Sutton are National Weather Service, what we call ASOS, Automated Surface Observation Systems. They're quality controlled. So these numbers are should be accurate, whereas some of these over here may be interpreted from what is going on around them. But either way, we're in the upper 40s to low 50s for most of us, and of course, it's a little bit colder in the mountains. You can see we've got some lower 40s there. Also, Davis here is also, we'll call it official at 46 degrees, Elkins at 42. Those are operated and maintained by the National Weather Service for weather observations. Either way, it's warming up. We're going to take a tour of US 50 here from west to east. This is that is I-77. That's US 50 beneath it. We are seeing, it looks like clouds there. And I'm suspecting as we go farther east, we are going to see more sunshine. This is US 50 west of Clarksburg, looking west, where it looks like we've got some high clouds. I can see some shadows there as the cars roll by, so there's still some sunshine outside. As we continue farther, I know that's US 33, or south of US 33, 250, 219 in Randolph County, seeing, looks like a good amount of sunshine there in Randolph County. And this is Grant County over in the Eastern Panhandle, where it looks like the sun is shining. As we can see some shadows on the ground from the car. So for today, we do have the threat again for some severe weather. That being said, I don't think severe weather is going to happen, and neither does the Storm Prediction Center, because this is, of the 5 threat categories, this is just the general threat for, say, a rumble of thunder, maybe a lightning strike. For the most part, we're going to see some rain showers later on this afternoon, and those will be gone before too long. Not going to amount to a great deal today in terms of rainfall, but we are going to see some showers moving this way, probably after 2 o'clock. So we're going to get the winds out of the south and west. You can see on the left side of your screen there, southwesterly winds. If you look to the right, you can see northerly winds, and you could probably pick out the center of that rotation. That's the center of high pressure somewhere just east of the Eastern Panhandle as we speak. Big picture shows colder temperatures to the north, warmer temperatures to the south. Really not a lot to pick out here on this graphic, but I guess one thing I could pick out is temperatures are below where they normally are, quote unquote, for this time of year. Right now we're seeing some rain showers here in parts of, yes, that's Ohio. Remember, that's Ohio, coming this way. So we're seeing a few bullseyes here of some yellows and oranges. So maybe there's some lightning strikes in here. I can't show you this because doesn't belong to me, and we are a commercial station here, so I can look at things, and actually I've got them in my graphics, but I don't have it checked on. But in terms of thunderstorms, not seeing any here to our west. So some rain showers are heading this way, but as we heat up into the low 60s, perhaps a rumble of thunder this afternoon, and if it happens, severe weather is unlikely. I was going to point out on this one here, you can see here in Kentucky and Ohio, check out the southwest flow here. You can see things going from southwest to northeast here. And if you look back here in Indiana, you can see northwest to southeast. So this is behind the cold front. Here, the air is undercutting the air that it is moving into. So that's where we're getting the rising air out here, leading to clouds and rain showers as this colder air cuts underneath that. And you can see the definite change in wind direction there. Of course, these are at 2 different levels. This is mostly middle and probably upper level winds, and these are more low level winds here. But either way, we've got our front somewhere in here, and that will be moving through later on today. That being said, it is not a strong cold front, which means Temperatures behind it are similar to what is going on out ahead of it. You can see the area of low pressure there in Ohio, and the northwest flow behind the front, and not much colder air, probably a little bit less humid too. And that change in density and the heaviness, so to speak, of the two different air masses, one behind the front and one to the east of the front, is making one air mass go up and over the other. That rising air often leads to showers, and that's what we're dealing with for today. Futurecast shows, here come the showers after about 2 o'clock. It shows them spotty. It could be a little bit more numerous than what it's showing here at 5 o'clock. But either way, again, take note of the northwest winds there on the other side of the Ohio River, and westerly winds in north central West Virginia at 5 o'clock. Then as the cold front moves through, you can see the winds changing to, at least briefly there, to the north. And then after the front moves through, winds change direction again. Either way, it's going to be cold for tonight. That is high pressure. If you look in, let's see if I can get over here. Over here in Virginia and Maryland, you can see the winds are out of the north and west. You can see here the winds are out of the southeast. So if you connect those, we've got clockwise flow, and that's an indication of high pressure. High pressure again means the air is sinking, and as it sinks, it warms some. And the warmer the air is, the less the water molecules in the gas form, called water vapor, are less likely to stick together. And therefore, we usually have clear skies or clearing skies or less clouds, or a trend to less cloud cover with high pressure and sinking air. That's what we've got here, high pressure. That is Saturday morning at 6 a.m., so the air is going to be cold to begin with. It's going to be dry. And right under the center of high pressure, which is somewhere right here in north central West Virginia, the winds are usually light, and in some sheltered valleys, probably going calm, if not elsewhere. So that's a good setup. Dry air, cold air, winds calm for the air to cool off during the overnight hours, and that's what's going to happen tomorrow morning. Bottom line, cold in the 30s. Tomorrow morning, perhaps or likely below freezing in some mountain valleys. As we progress into the afternoon hours, you can see again, we've got northwesterly flow here. This is 5 o'clock on Saturday. We'll have clouds and sun, maybe a shower at spots on Saturday, but most of your Saturday will be dry, although it's going to be chilly. Here we are at 5 o'clock on Saturday. As we progress into Sunday morning, check out the clear skies again. And just looking at that picture, I see light wind flow. And again, the air is still dry. It's cold to begin with. And another cold start to Sunday. Saturday and or Sunday, maybe even colder than what we had this morning. We may close in on some records, especially in Parkersburg. It seemed like Parkersburg's temperature records over the next couple of days were really not all that low. So just like today, their record low was 30, and they made it to 32. So that's really not that low of a record. If you look at other records close to it for this time of year, it's one of the higher ones to, or easier ones to make it to. Anyways, on Sunday morning, we're going to have high pressure, and that's going to stick around throughout the day. You can see lots of sunshine, but the cold air will still be in place. It's trying to move out there on Sunday afternoon. So either way, cold mornings for Saturday, Sunday, and chilly afternoons. We'll get to your 10-day here, I think, now, and show you eventually we've got some warmer temperatures. That being said, you can see Monday's high of 70. That's still going to be about 4 degrees below average for this time of year. Oh, I saw I was waving to someone in the studio there. And on Tuesday, 73. I think that's going to be just about average or 1 degree below for this time of year. And then as we go into Monday, maybe a shower in spots, and then the best chance or the most widespread showers are going to be late in the day on Tuesday night, and into much of Wednesday. For this stretch, late Tuesday, we're talking about the evening hours, and then much of Wednesday. We've got a cold front taking shape and slowly moving through late Tuesday into Wednesday, as I'm talking slow to accentuate the fact that the front that's moving this way is going to be slow. And that'll be producing, I think, a good bit of showers, maybe some thunderstorms for late Tuesday into Wednesday. It doesn't look like a great threat overall for that to happen, but there will be rain late Tuesday and much of Wednesday. And then a new weak storm system comes through on Thursday. Check it out, high of 63, and might even not make it that warm. We got some showers for much of Thursday, so it's going to be relatively active wet pattern for next week, and with that will come below average temperatures. The mornings will be a little bit above average in terms of temperatures due to the cloud cover. Either way, as we progress to the late stages of next week, there should be a break at some point, and then the following weekend, we've got some showers on Saturday, dry on Sunday, but of course, days 9 and 10, that can often change, so... Anyways, that's going to do it for me today here on Weatherman Ken at 10, and they archive these shows that you can watch if you like on WDTV.com. You can join us on midday. You can download the WDTV First Alert Weather app, or you could join us tomorrow morning at 10. Thanks for joining us as always, and oh wait, not tomorrow morning. It's Saturday. Monday morning at 10. We'll see.